Good evening. This meeting will now come to order. This is the Laverne Board of Zoning Appeals, August 29th, 2017, the regular meeting at 5:30 p.m. The first order of business is call us to order, which I am doing, and determine if we have a quorum. We have one member absent this evening. However, we still have a quorum, so we shall proceed. The next item of business is to approve the minutes from the July 25th meeting. Have all the members had an opportunity to read the minutes from the July 25th meeting?
I'll make a motion to accept as submitted.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to accept the minutes as presented for the July 25th meeting. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Unanimous. They are approved as presented. We'll go into the business at hand right here. We have the first item is the old business. It's a sign variance. Taco John's, requested by Joseph Harden, property located at 5068 Murfreesboro Road, tax map 15N, Group A, Parcel 2. 3/4 of an acre, C2, Highway Service Zoning District, and the parcel is owned by Invest Squared Limited Liability Corporation. May we have the report, please?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This applicant, as you know, is Taco John's, located on Murfreesboro Road, and the site's been under construction for several months and is finishing up. The current city ordinance allows a restaurant in C2 to have one monument sign or one pole sign up to 125 square feet of copy area, and an additional wall sign up to 100 square feet. So the total allowed by the ordinance is 225 square feet of copy area. And what Taco John's is proposing is to have an additional sign to increase their visibility from Murfreesboro Road. And so that'd bring their total to 3 signs. And the sign they're proposing is less than 16 square feet, so it's very small. And there are 3 signs together after this addition would still not even come close to the 225 square feet that the city ordinance allows with the pole sign and the one wall sign. So I'll be happy to answer any questions. Thank you.
Do we have a representative here? Would you stand up before us, please? Would you raise your right hand, please? You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
State your name and address for the record, please.
My name is Mark Truby, 30 Robin Hood Loop, Savannah, Tennessee.
Thank you, Mark. Have you heard the report? Do you have anything you wish to add or anything?
No, that's exactly what we want to do. On the side elevation, the entry elevation, it's a round cabinet sign that'll direct mount to the wall. It'll be face lit with LED, and it's 48 inches round, and that's what we'd like to add.
Any board members have any questions?
Yeah, I have just a couple of questions, sir. On the print that you supplied,
Yes, sir.
are you referring, there's a red line here, are you referring to putting a name across here?
No, sir, it's that red. If I have some photos, if I may approach.
Sure, yeah.
Okay.
Just trying to get a layout of what we're doing here.
So this is what's existing and what's permitted, is these color photos. So if it goes through there, that is what is on site and is what is up and running. This is what we would like to add on that side elevation. This is what's proposed. I'm sorry.
That's all right. That's all right.
Cuts, there goes that sign. That's
Okay.
what's proposed, and this is what's proposed on that side elevation. And you can see from my photos that that round logo is not on there yet.
So you're referring to on here?
Yes.
Okay.
So this is, we want to put this there. Yes, sir.
Okay, for the record, the representative has presented to the board pictures of the facility as it is right now in the stage of construction, as well as the recommended, the one that he has petitioned to add.
So just to follow on with the sign that you want to put on, is it going to be on 24 hours?
I'm sorry?
Is it going to be on 24 hours a day? Is it going to be lit 24 hours a day?
No, they've got a, it lights only at night.
All right.
Yeah.
And is there any downwash lighting, or is it just facing?
Just a face lit sign,
Okay.
yes. Just face lit and that's it.
I kind of like it. It looks like a little logo,
Yeah,
Taco John's.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, that is definitely part of their brand. So they would like to have it on there.
Are there any other questions? I'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion to approve.
We have
I
a motion
second the
to
motion.
approve.
I second the motion to
It's been
approve.
seconded. We'll take a vote. All those in favor of the petition signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? None. It's approved. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
The next item is new business. We have a sign variance, Dunkin' Donuts, requested by Lee Millwood, property located at 5285 Murfreesboro Road, tax map 14, parcel 72, C2 Highway Service Zoning District, parcel owned by Richland South Limited Liability Corporation. May we have the report, please?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is also a request for additional signage above and beyond what the city ordinance allows. This is for the Dunkin' Donuts at the corner of Floyd Mayfield and Murfreesboro Road. It is zoned C2, and the applicant is requesting to add 3 additional signs. That would be one on the northwest side and the southeast side. If you think about Murfreesboro Road, it doesn't run due north and south. So the 2 sides, and then a drive-through sign that will be added to the southern facade, or the facade that faces Murfreesboro Road. And again, the city ordinance allows 225 square feet of copy area with a ground-mounted sign or a pole sign and 1 wall sign. The elevations that they submitted, overall, the signs are fairly, I guess you'd say fairly small. The drive-through sign is, I think, only 11 inches tall, something like that. So they're not large by any measure, and that would bring their total signs on the site to 5. And the calculated copy area is 234.95 square feet. And I've not had a chance to ask the applicant about their street sign and whether it's pole or monument, so I don't know exactly what they propose, and that was before I started working here in Laverne, so I'm not positive on the sign at the street. I'll be happy to answer any other questions. Thanks.
Okay. Do we have a representative here? Yes. Take the podium, please.
Is it?
There's 2 of us here.
Okay. Who's going to be the primary?
Me.
All right. Raise your right hand, please. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you. Would you state your name and address for the record, please?
Lee Millwood, 542 County Road 500, Englewood, Tennessee.
Thank you, sir. You heard the report. Do you have anything to add?
Well, again, we're trying to, we're building a Dunkin' Donuts because we're facing on both Floyd, Mayfield, and Murfreesboro. And if you look at how Murfreesboro intersects there, we're trying to make sure that, that the traffic from any direction they're coming from has good visibility of our building and our signage. One of the questions that you had was whether we were going to put up a pole sign or a monument sign, and we're proposing a pole sign. I only have one image of it. I'm sorry I didn't bring any more, but we're proposing a pole sign out front. And
This is not part of the, I mean, this was done by the planning commission, or this is part of the, what they're looking for tonight?
I don't know if that sign was approved at Planning Commission.
That was what would have been through the planning commission. That's basically just showing whether or not it's a pole sign or a monument.
Okay.
That's part of their whole package already.
So where is the pole sign going to be placed?
the pole sign,
Okay, I see it now. Okay, I apologize. I see
got
it.
it?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's at the corner of Floyd Mayfield and Murfreesboro Road?
Yes.
And how tall is it?
Well, now the pole sign would actually be, and there's 2 buildings being built, so the pole sign we're suggesting to go in between, kind of where the 2 properties meet up right there.
Okay.
The pole sign would be 30 foot tall.
So there's going to be a building between Floyd Mayfield and your building?
That's the Dunkin' Donuts, that's the,
Dunkin'
and
Donuts?
this is the other building.
Between his and post office,
Well, it's beside the.
yeah.
So you're
post office.
trying to capture the attention of people over here?
Well, on the building signs, we're trying to get people coming down Floyd Mayfield. People coming down Murfreesboro Pike would be the front sign, and coming this direction, you'll be able to see it from the side here. And then the pole sign, you can see it on this drawing that they're suggesting right here. If you think about this corner, there's a lot of poles, traffic signal box, a whole lot of stuff right in there that, I don't know that we could squeeze it in safely.
I think that's going to be sufficient
Sure.
here for the traffic coming.
So you want to put one on this side too?
And we're proposing a sign here and here. The drive-through is this number one, and then one over the drive-through window.
I can understand the
you.
front and this side and the pole sign, I just don't understand it over here.
With the parking over in the other business over here, we're trying to make sure that people realize that this is a Dunkin' Donuts if they're in this. The parking, or the entrance is back here, so you're gonna have a hard time if you come in here realizing that we're over here. That's why we're doing that.
You don't
Oh,
think they'll
so-
see that?
Well, they might,
The
yeah.
pole sign? Okay.
I hope so.
I hope so too.
Otherwise, we're wasting our money on the pole sign.
Here's my other question though. After you've been to the Dunkin' Donuts once, and you've been there once, obviously you would know where it's going to be. I mean, I'm agreeing with Debbie Hugan. On the east side, I think that's going a little bit over the top. I mean, that is my opinion. It's just that they're on about putting a sign on 3 signs as well as a pole sign. You know, I mean,
I agree. I think it's overkill on that right side.
Okay.
Because in my experiences of doing this for 30 years in other restaurants is, especially being a kind of like a highway location, the more time that a driver has to react to it, it helps just safety wise, and oh, there it is, so I'm slowing down, there's an access drive there, and that's the reason why we try to make sure that because I know it's new.
I just feel like they're gonna wreck if they're gonna have to take the time not to look at the pole sign, but to look in between the two buildings. If they're coming down Murfreesboro Road, they're gonna run over something, eventually. I think the pole sign and the front signs and the signs to the left side of the building would be sufficient for everybody to get a good view. The right side, I think, is only gonna be
The drive-through side.
mostly accessible safely for the people in the next building to you, which they can also look up and see the pole sign, but that's just my opinion.
Okay.
and again, I understand you're 30
I
years.
love the donuts there, by the way.
Good.
I understand 30 years, but now in this day and age, we're using GPS, and people using phones and looking for addresses. So, in this day and age, things have changed a little bit. So I agree that I think that the third sign on the east side is overkill and is not required. And with that, I'll make a motion to accept only the 2 add-ons for the east side and the facing Murfreesboro Road, and not the one on the east side.
What about the little drive-through sign on the front? Does it,
The drive-through is
does that one matter?
That's okay.
Okay.
I'm just referring to the one on the floor.
Basically, you're
Number 4.
eliminating the one on the right-hand side of the
The
building if you're
non-drive-through.
standing on Murfreesboro Pike, the one on the right-hand side.
Yeah,
That's what
number
you're
4,
Correct.
Right.
that you have numbered.
Is that the one we're talking
So that's my
The
motion,
one
Mr.
right
Chairman.
on the side.
I second the motion to eliminate number 4 sign.
I didn't, was that a motion?
Yes.
Okay, and you seconded? All right. Do you understand the motion?
Yeah.
Okay,
It's
good.
to approve all the signs except for the number 4 sign on the
Noted by
right
number
side.
4. Okay. Everybody understands the motion. We'll take a voice vote on it. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Those opposed? None. It's unanimous. It's approved as it was stated.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Y'all come see us.
Oh, we will.
Go get Taco John's, right?
When are you opening? When are you opening?
It's probably gonna be mid-October is what I'm estimating right now. So,
Okay,
mid-October, maybe late October, so we're pushing real hard.
thank you.
Okay, the next item is also new business. A special exception to allow ancillary retail sales requested by Joey Hargis, property located at 444 Dick Buchanan Street, 29 acres, Light 1, Light Industrial Zoning District, parcel owned by Karger Lumber of the South Incorporated. May we have that report, please?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This applicant is requesting to conduct ancillary retail sales on their property located at 444 Dick Buchanan Street. The property is currently zoned I-1 Light Industrial. In section 5.054.1 of the City of Laverne zoning ordinance, commercial uses as permitted in C1, C2, C3, or C4 districts are uses that are permitted as special exceptions in an I-1 district. And furthermore, section 5.053.2 of the zoning ordinance outlines the permitted uses allowed within a C2 district. And there's several listed there, but worth mentioning are number 3, building materials and farm equipment sales, and number 14, general retail trade. And as this request for an additional use of ancillary retail sales is permitted in a C2 district, it seems appropriate that the Board of Zoning Appeals would consider this matter. In 3 weeks of time that it's been posted, signs posted on the property, there have been no phone calls regarding this item. Thank you.
We have a representative here? Just waiting to jump up.
Thanks, sir.
Would you raise your right hand, please?
Sir.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do, sir.
Thank you.
My name is Joey Hargis. I'm the attorney of record, 211 Commerce Street, Nashville, Tennessee, with law firm Baker Dawson. With me is Mr. Chuck Price, a representative of the company, should you need him. But this is before you, as Mr. Logan talked about, as a special exception. Carter Lumber operates in this part of the country known as KIGHT, K-I-G-H-T, and that will be the name listed there. The request is to do some ancillary retail sales. That is, the vast majority of their business is done through outside sales folks to contractors, or when building permits are issued, it lists the contractor, their representative's contact to buy purchase that. What they're requesting to do is to allow folks like yourself, if you wanted to buy some product from them, to be able to purchase those on the premises. There's no showroom or anything as you think of Home Depot or Lowe's or anything like that, but it would allow someone to buy some of their products on site. To give you some idea of the ancillary services or the ancillary amount of sales, to give you some idea, they have 3 locations in this general area. They're all in Kentucky, Owensboro, Hopkinsville, and Bowling Green. In Owensboro, this type of sale amounts to about 4% of their sales. In Hopkinsville is less than 0.5%. In Bowling Green is about 10%, which is more of a rarity in this type of thing. But the estimated sales here will be about $20 million per year total for it, and of which in between 5 and 10% of those sales would be at retail. So we spoken to the planner and filed this request to allow folks, if they wanted to come that way, we wouldn't have to turn them away to purchase a product there. But the overall 90 to 95% of their sales are to contractors directly. And this side is the package of the lumber and shipping it to the job site through those sales. But that's our request before you today, sir.
Okay. Do we have any questions of the board members?
I do. Just on the sketch you presented, on the entranceway, is that presently tar? Is it not? Is it dustless surface or not?
The question as far as the coverage, if you come forward if you don't mind.
I just want on the entranceway, if you can have the public coming in and out, is the entranceway on your property or the property you plan to purchase or lease, is that a dustless surface? In other words, if you drove a truck or a vehicle on it, does it make dust?
Yeah, I mean, it's a gravel entrance. I maybe some asphalt off the Dick Buchanan Street, but it's the only entrance in the site where this is going.
Yeah, I think with dealing with the public, if we do move forward with it, that I would like to see that if you're amenable to have the entranceway or at least some period into your property where it is either concrete and or tar and chip that does not cause any dust. Because what's going to happen is the rest of the property, remind me, can be very dusty during the dry periods. Sure. And I think to drag vehicles on and off there and put it onto the city street is not in the best concern for the city as well as the citizens. So just a comment. I don't know if you want to respond to that.
It would help dress that area up a little bit too.
Some asphalt or
Yeah.
As I read it, it says all off-street parking lots and loading areas should be surfaced with a dustless hard surface material such as asphalt, concrete, to prevent the release of dust. And that whole area is gravel. from going into there all the way back to where you are, which is quite some distance back. It is all gravel.
With the area, as far as Mr. Coates, you're talking about, maybe a skirt area of some distance? coming
I'm
off
looking for a
of
distance that we
Dick
can agree to. I understand what he's saying. My point is that if you're coming onto the property and you're coming back out and you're bringing dust with you, A, that's not good for anybody, and B, that's coming onto the city street, and it doesn't look aesthetically any good anyway. So we're just trying to figure out with your map here, what you sketched on of what that distance should be, and to meet the city guidelines. So then my question would be, where would the normal citizen drive to get the materials?
essentially be to the office area.
It looks to me like it's permittable as long as they do have a dustless surface for entrance and exit off of the paved street.
You could do it.
Well, I'll only do from here to the gate area. There's a gate right here.
He's looking at
Yeah,
my one
whatever-
page,
Whatever they say. we can-
95.
The bottom of page 95.
It's likely to use it now like it anyway.
Yes, what I've got. And then on the other page, it looks like it's permittable under the section C, uses permitted as special exceptions, but, which includes,
Yeah.
possibly could include that, but it looks like it does have to be a paved surface.
And Mr. Coates, as far as the area where it touches from Dick Buchanan into the property, of course, if you've seen the site, through the gate, and then, 15 or 20 feet into the site, we can certainly hard surface that area.
So just looking at what you sketched out, because I want to understand your layout.
Yes,
You got the ingress, what you're showing on there, then you have offices. So would then the public drive around the offices to do the transaction?
That general area, yes, sir, that you see in here. Sure.
And then where would they go to pick up the material? Where it says the warehouse and storage?
All in the whole thing.
Yeah, in that area, or in other areas, which will have outdoor storage of this.
The entrance right here.
Yeah.
And they got a couple of small buildings here.
So there's the
All
offices.
the storage, the wood, that's okay. You go in the main entrance here, and immediately to your left here is where the small buildings are.
Right.
Well, that would be the office, I would
Yes,
imagine.
here, and then you'll have storage in this area
Yeah,
as well as there.
The polka dotted area, where your left hand is, right there is where all the wood product is.
Right.
That's where the
So-
buildings are, yeah.
Yes, sir, and then there'll be storage in this area as well, in other parts of the property.
And this is all open, none of that's closed in.
So where it says Skyworks lease office warehouse, well, what's the, just let me understand that.
There are other tenants on the property currently.
Oh, the current,
Yes, sir.
okay.
Yes, sir. Existing tenants, when these folks purchased the property, there were tenants already on the property. You're familiar with Skyworks rental?
Sure.
Are you planning to build and add more warehouses and structures onto the property before, at some point?
Maybe down the road, there's nothing being proposed right now.
Okay.
Just pretty much bought it as is and moved in with it because there was a vacancy there. Skyworks was already in that part of it.
Up by where the office is on that entrance, is that where the sales orders will be, where they would go in to
Yeah,
order?
there's offices in both structures at the street there.
Okay.
As well as in the back, there's offices too. Where the office sign goes in the back, that's more
But where you would
administrative.
actually do your retail sales and ordering, would that be at the entrance, or would they have to come further back?
Potentially in the front is what the plan would be, yeah.
Okay. Would it be feasible to do some concrete or a paved area in that, up there where the retail sales would actually be?
Along that office area.
Yeah,
So
we
you
can
got two
look at
issues.
that, but-
You obviously got the dust, then you got people parking too. So obviously we're just trying to juggle us around here just to try and work with you, but meet our
Certainly.
guidelines too.
Certainly, sir.
So
We provide a little asphalt.
I mean, it's to come up with a square foot of dimension that we can give to them that we're acceptable to us, and then see if they want to do it. That's what we've got to work with.
Okay?
I mean, my other comment is, again, it's working with us on the city, it's a very bland road through there. It would be nice if you put just a few bushes on the entranceway to make it look nice like some of the other properties do. Just another comment, I mean, just something to make it look more aesthetically pleasing. But so let's go with some dimensions. What would the dimension be? And again, we're just trying to work out with the dimension from the entranceway on the south side to the offices. What distance would you think that would be? I'm just trying to come up with some dimensions.
Yeah, I would say at least 60 to 80 feet.
Okay, and then
We have a gate here. There's a gate right here, right now.
Would that include the parking area also? 60 to 80?
No, that would get you to about where a gate is. It's going to be locked up, where the fence kind of comes in at an angle.
Right.
There's a gate there, so it'd be that entranceway. That way they can come in off the road and park in front of the gate. You know, when it's locked up at night, it'd be that entranceway there.
Do you know how much the square footage of that area before they reach the gate is?
It's 60 deep and probably 15 or
Yeah, typical drive's around
20 feet
20
wide.
feet, 15 to 20
How
feet
many
wide.
parking spaces could you have there before they reach the gate? By the building? By the
Well, there
building
wouldn't
where
be
the
any
retail
parking
sales-
before the gate. They would come inside the gate and then swing around in front of those offices there.
Okay, so they'd have to go around through the gate?
Yeah.
In order to get to the offices?
Yes.
Okay. How many parking spaces do you think would fit alongside that building
kind of that general.
Yeah.
where they would be doing the retail sales?
Probably 8 to 10.
8 to 10? That including a handicap?
Yes.
Okay.
Because for sure your handicap space would have to be general area.
Do you know how much the square footage of that area would be if you had to
Well,
pave
typical
it?
parking spaces are 10 by 20, not counting the handicap width, and if you're doing 10, you're talking at least probably about by 20 by 110.
And then room to back out?
Yes, sir. Be comfortable with that area as far as hard surface.
Yeah, so it'd be from this area.
What do you
down
think
there to the
about
building.
paved entrance? And
Ms. Hagan, may I approach you guys?
yeah, sure, of course, yes.
So showing an area, by the scale of this property so large, but you come in off the drive and this area.
Yeah, okay.
Right.
So with that, would it be possible to have a paved drive coming in off of the street and into, and then leading through the gate into that parking area?
So let's calculate the south side of the gate entrance to the top side of where the office would be. Let's see if we come up with a calculation. Just trying to get definitive, because at the end of the day, someone's got to move, you know. I mean, you mentioned 80, I'm looking more towards 100 feet. So the gate you got,
Push Logan, any of that, did I have a full-size scale of that drawing that I submit, or is it 8.5 by 11?
Yeah, I agree.
They were all 11 by 7.
Okay.
From here.
Do you not have anything for the overhead?
Not for this, no ma'am.
Do
Okay.
you happen to have one of those 11 by 17s with you?
I don't think they were all,
How far from
Given
here
out.
to the gate?
Is this them?
100% pound.
no, that's for McManus packaging later on.
well, let's,
What Mr. Hargis submitted was 11 by 17. They're in your packets.
going to the dimensions here, what I'm going off here, you know, would 100 by 100 be acceptable for you?
100
Coming in off of
100.
here.
Yeah.
So we want to make
Yeah.
sure we come in the driveway,
So that's
and then
why.
we're looking at this, it's 100, I think it's 80 to the edge, the north face of the office, so that'll give you 20
Ah,
plus.
yeah.
So I'm looking at, I'm working at 100 by 100,
Okay.
dustless surface.
Right, and then we have,
And then that's the only part you pave that.
right, okay.
Fine with you?
Yep.
Yes, we can do that. 100 square, 10,000 square foot area, coming in off of Dick Buchanan, hanging left in front of that office space.
Right, right.
Handicap spot, they'll be striped,
Yes.
marked out for them. Obviously, we don't want folks driving all through the
No,
site.
we understand, but I just want to, the intent would be, I think with the rest of the board is one is a dustless surface on
Yes.
the driveway entrance, and then get to the office space, you know, on a dustless surface, and then move forward from there.
Okay, well noted.
Your thoughts on the beautification to the entrance? Any, I mean, and again, it's outside the realm, but I'm just trying to work with the
Yeah, I
city
mean, we could
limit.
look at that, the current fence that was already up, as you know, erected, we were told to screen, which we did. We have put fabric screening on it, which, you know, it'd have to be the distance, not in the right of way
Sure.
of outside the fence, but.
Like, anything just for some bushes, just to make it more presentable. I mean,
Somehow in front of the, right where the entrance is and,
Yep.
and area?
just to make
Okay.
it look nice. I mean, it's just something to. I mean, it's just more on the beautification on your side as well as the city too. It's not just
Yes,
you know.
Right.
I don't know if you're familiar with the area, but a lot of people that live in the largest subdivision in the southeast use that road to cut through to get back into the neighborhood.
Okay.
And I live back there in that neighborhood, and I cut through there all the
All
time.
right.
Yes, sir.
And I'd love to see it
Certainly.
kind of greened up and a little bit prettier.
Okay.
Certainly contrast to what's across the street, obviously.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Certainly.
They're both acceptable to you.
Sure. Yes, sir.
Would you state the motion?
I will, nice slowly. So with that, I'll make a motion to accept the special exception on the provision that they put in 100 by 100 feet dustless surface, as well as to put in some bushes or beautification to the entranceway to the facility.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Been moved and seconded. We'll take a vote by voice. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those
Aye.
opposed? It's unanimous.
Thank you all.
Thank you
Appreciate
very
it.
much.
Thank you,
Appreciate
guys.
it. I gave you the page number for the next one. See what we got next here. Okay, we have, the next item is a little out of the norm for us. It's, we'll be voting on making a recommendation to the Board of Mayor and Aldermen on a special exception to allow manufacturing and scrap operations requested by Chester McKinney. The property is located on Dick Buchanan Street, 19 acres. It's I-3 Industrial Special Use. Parcels are owned by John D. Waldron, trustee, Dennis Ray Waldron, John and Daisy Waldron, Commercial Property Trust. May we have the report, please?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I know you had mentioned that this request seems awkward, and the reason would be because the I-3 zone in the Laverne zoning ordinance has not a single permitted use by right, nothing. So if you want to do anything in I-3, you have to come to this board first, and that's one reason that it seems so unusual. This property entails 3 parcels, parcel 50, 50.03, and 47.02, and they are unaddressed, which is not uncommon around counties in Tennessee when there's no use or no structure on the property. So there's not ever been an address issued for these properties. One property fronts the road, the 2 in the rear are landlocked, and per section 5.054 of the zoning ordinance, there, as I mentioned, are no permitted uses by right, but there are 16 uses permitted as a special exception. And so that's quite a lot. One of those is manufacturing and scrap operations, and that is what the applicant is requesting to do at this site. Let's see, I think that covers most of the report. After being posted for a little over 3 weeks, staff has received no phone calls about this item either, and I'll be happy to answer your questions. Thank you. Oh, I'm sorry, one thing. The rolled-up plan is a full-size set that was provided by McVantage Packaging, and they also submitted a 3-ring binder, and the Planning Commission got to see that first on August 15th. So it's the same binder that was submitted for the Planning Commission. And thank you.
Okay, thank you. Do we have a representative here for that? I just knew that we would.
Had to be. Yes, sir. Good evening.
Would you raise your right hand, please? Would you
will.
swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I will, yes,
State
sir.
your name and address, please, for
I'm
record.
Chester McKinney Jr. I represent McVantage Packaging. Our home office is 514 US Highway 43 South, Tuscumbia, Alabama.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Have any comments in addition to what the city person has already read?
Maybe I picked up one thing, was that 19 acres or 16 acres that you mentioned?
16 acres is what the report is showing.
Okay, yes, it's 16 acres. I thought I heard 19. I was just trying to get that down, get it straight for the record.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Could you explain what you're going to do with the property if you move forward? Just explain what you're going to do.
If you, let me refer you to the book there, and
Okay.
maybe the last tab, it says who we are.
All right.
We are a manufacturer, remanufacturer of pallets, boxes, crates. We also recycle pallets, boxes, and crates. Of course, that entails anything, if you look behind just about any of your buildings here, commercial or whatever, you will find a pallet. The world moves on a pallet, or it generally doesn't move. We just assist with that. Either we provide a new pallet, we will recycle, if it's recyclable, a pallet that has been picked up by what we call a picker. They'll bring them to us. We grade them out. We decide if we can use it or not. We may pay for it, put it back into use. Essentially, that's what we do. Now, we can get in depth if you want to, and if you refer to the 5th tab, it talks about who we are. You can see some of the equipment, maybe some of the operation there in photo as to what kind of operation we are.
The areas over there are quite, I don't know how to say it, kind of junky looking over in that area, on that street. Would you not agree?
I would.
A little unkempt.
It can use some improvements.
Would your company be buying this and taking over and cleaning that area up a little bit where this property is located at?
That would be the intention. Okay. That how we do what we are proposing to do, we don't even have it totally defined yet. Why? As I maybe spoke to some of the folks in the Planning Commission a couple of weeks ago, we have processes that are still in being determined and defined, but we're talking buildings, we're talking trying to do whatever it takes from a manufacturing standpoint to make sure that we can do what we want to do profitably. And we're not here to, as a matter of fact, I've heard a couple of the previous, I think maybe they refer to, can we do something with the street? Let me refer you to the front page of our notebook. We are presently operating in the Nashville area now, and you'll see that's a picture of our entrance of our facility here in Nashville now.
Oh, much nicer than what we're used to over there.
So we'll do our best to make sure we get at least to that, and I would assume a whole lot better. Yes.
Any other questions?
Present entranceway, is that a dustless surface?
I'm sorry?
The present entranceway, is that a dustless surface?
I'm not even sure what kind of surface it has on there. I don't know that you can use it for much of anything.
Well, anyway, obviously you heard the previous applicant who's on the same street, and obviously trying to be consistent. You know, again, you're bringing tractor trailers on and off the street.
Right.
I just, although we're doing a recommendation, I think it'd be nice to suggest to the Mayor Alderman with some other suggestions being consistent. Obviously, the Mayor Alderman did not know what else we were doing, but would be you adverse to? Or I was requesting to have 100 feet in of a dustless surface?
Well, I think what we have here is asphalt, and it's much more than 100 feet.
Okay.
So, I mean, we would expect that.
Okay.
Yes.
Mr. Coates, he would have to come in with a site plan for planning commission, so he's gonna have to meet all requirements in the regulations. It's a little different than the situation you had before.
Right. Okay.
What kind of business is currently being operated there? Do you know?
I don't see much of anything being operated there. If I may add a little humor to the conversation, if anything's being done there now, it's probably not legal, but
Well, It looks kind of like a junkyard or something over there now,
Well,
when I drive through there, but,
I drove past a few minutes ago on my way up, and apparently we're going to inherit a boat. We're going to, an old school bus and several other pieces of
you don't
odd
plan on
equipment,
keeping the little
and-
artifacts, do you?
Well, that would, I guess, come up with the planning commission or whatever. If we're required to put some kind of lake out front or whatever, we might decide to keep the boat. But past that, I can't imagine why we would want to keep it.
I think it's been there long enough, I think it would sink.
Well, if we keep it, we'll paint it for you. How about that?
Yeah, all right.
Any other questions?
We're an
Okay,
open book.
An open book.
And the dustless surface, that'll be addressed by the
Planning Commission.
planning commission?
Yes,
Okay.
if the special exception is granted, then they would have to come back for a site plan submittal to the planning commission.
Okay. Well, I make a motion based on that to approve.
It'd be a recommendation.
I make a recommendation, I make a motion that we approve a recommendation to the board.
So why don't you say that we make a recommendation to the mayor and alderman to accept the request for the special exception? That's the way.
Yes, I make a motion that we approve recommending this goes before the mayor and alderman board for approval. Will that work?
That'll work.
Oh, second.
I wouldn't dare repeat it. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Those opposed? Unanimous. Thank you, sir.
Well, may I break in for a second? So what happens now? I mean, how does it proceed? I'm not even sure about the process.
I understand. So this is the BOSA the next meeting, which is proceeding after this one, is then the planning commission. That's your next step. Once the planning commission okays it, then it goes to the mayor and alderman, and we'll get with you with the dates as far as when that comes up.
So I'm to wait on dates.
He could probably, the guy right up there could probably,
Yes.
Kyle, he can tell you the
There's
date.
just meetings we'll get together and get straight.
He's
Okay.
real good about contacting people.
Okay, all right. So you'll be next, or I'll speak with you next, and then
Well,
we'll
you're
sort
going
of.
to have the planning commission after this meeting.
Right.
And they'll send either a favorable or unfavorable recommendation, mayor and alderman also. And then you'll be at the next mayor alderman meeting. Actually, the next two mayor alderman meetings.
So is there a planning commission meeting after this meeting?
tonight.
Okay, yeah, that was my question right there.
Yeah,
Oh,
and then
so-
Thursday, I believe there's a mayor alderman meeting.
Yes.
Is that
and we'll-
correct?
Okay.
Thursday night?
We'll get to that after this.
Yeah, yeah.
Have a seat.
We don't want to
Thank you.
confuse you. Thank you.
Okay, we have one more item, new business. A special exception to allow automobile sales requested by Kevin Berta, property located at 409 Dick Buchanan Street. There must be something going on in Dick Buchanan Street tonight. Okay, yeah. 9 and almost 10 acres. It's a light industrial zoning district, parcel owned by Express Recycling Group, Limited Liability Corporation. May we have that report, please?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And this site, as you mentioned, is zoned I-1, currently light industrial, and the applicant is proposing to conduct automobile sales at this place of business. And I did notice, too, there's a lot of activity on Dick Buchanan Street. So this is at 409. And in Section 5.054 of the city's zoning ordinance, commercial uses as permitted in a C1, C2, C3, or C4 zoning district are uses permitted as special exceptions in an I1. And furthermore, Section 5.053.2 of the ordinance outlines the permitted uses allowed within C2 districts, and they include a multitude of activities like 25 plus, but number 18 is automobile sales and rental, and this request would fit that category. And in 3 weeks' time, posted on the property, we have not received any phone calls. Thank you.
All right. Is there a representative here? There is no representative here for this request?
So we'll have to defer it?
I am going to take action to defer this, and we like to have the people here to represent themselves when they submit a petition as this. So we will defer this to next month. If they are not here next month, it will be disapproved. There being no further business, we stand adjourned.